The stars twisted and bent as the massive fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. 47 ships materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system, their hulls gleaming with the dark metal that had brought fear to countless worlds. Supreme Commander Zalthex stood on the bridge of his flagship, his forearms crossed in satisfaction. This would be conquest number 48. Zalthex was tall even for a Crithian. His scaled skin shimmered purple under the bridge lights and his eyes glowed with pride. He had spent 300 cycles serving the Dominion, working his way up from a simple soldier to this position of power. He had seen many species fall before the might of his fleet. Some begged. Some fought. All eventually surrendered. He turned to his communications officer. "Begin the declaration of conquest. Standard protocol." The officer's claws clicked across the console. "Broadcasting on all frequencies, Commander. The primitive world should receive it momentarily." Zalthex straightened his ceremonial armor. The camera drones floated into position around him. This was his favorite part, the moment when a species realized their time of independence had ended. He had practiced his speech many times. The broadcast began. Zalthex's image was now being sent to every communication device on the planet below. Television, radio, computer networks, everything. "People of Earth," he began, his voice deep and commanding. "I am Supreme Commander Zalthex of the Crithian Dominion. Your world has been selected for integration into our empire. You have violated our territorial claims by existing in this region of space. You possess resources that belong to the Dominion. You have 72 of your hours to surrender unconditionally." He paused for effect. The camera drone circled him, capturing his most impressive angles. "Resistance is futile. We have conquered 47 worlds. Your primitive technology cannot stand against us. Observe what happens to those who resist." The broadcast switched to footage, cities burning, ships exploding, entire populations being herded into containment centers. The Crithians kept excellent records of their conquests. These images had broken the will of dozens of species. "Surrender, and you will be treated fairly under Dominion law. Resist and face annihilation. You have 72 hours. Choose wisely." The broadcast ended. Zalthex nodded, satisfied. Now came the waiting. Usually within the first hour, panicked messages would flood in. Governments would scramble. Military forces would mobilize uselessly. Citizens would riot. It was all very predictable. His tactical officer approached. "Commander, we are receiving responses from Earth." "Already?" That was fast. "Are they surrendering?" I am not sure, sir." Zalthex frowned. "What do you mean you are not sure?" "Play the responses." The first message appeared on screen. It was a short video. A human male sat at a desk trying very hard not to laugh. "And in breaking news, aliens have declared war on Earth." Yes, you heard that right. Aliens. The official White House response was, and I quote, "New phone, who dis?" The human lost his composure and started laughing. The video cut off. Zalthex stared. "What? What is this? Is this their leader?" "No, sir. This appears to be a news entertainer. We are receiving thousands of similar transmissions." "Show me more." Another video played. A human female was speaking rapidly. "Okay, so the alien dude shows up, does the whole 'we will conquer you' speech, but did anyone else notice he was trying so hard? The dramatic pauses? The mood lighting? Sweetie, we have seen better villains in cartoon shows. I am giving this invasion attempt a 5 out of 10. Points for effort, but the execution needs work." More videos followed. One showed Zalthex's face edited onto a dancing human body. Another had replaced his voice with a singing tone, turning his declaration into a song. A particularly popular one had added small furry earth creatures called cats to his image, making him appear to be holding them. "What is happening?" Zalthex demanded. "Are these their military responses? Some kind of psychological attack?" His cultural liaison, a nervous young officer named Peltic, stepped forward. "Sir, I have been studying their global information network. This appears to be what they call memes. It is a form of humor and social communication." "Humor? We just threatened to destroy their entire civilization." "Yes, sir. They appear to find it amusing." Zalthex's head ridges flared with anger. "This is unacceptable. Where is their government's official response?" Peltix pulled up another message. It was from something called the United Nations. The message was short. "New phone, who dis?" Below it was an image. A human shrugging with text that said, "I mean, we can see you, but did you try calling first?" This is their official response? Zalthex could barely speak. This is an insult. Sir, there is more. Much more. Peltix showed him screen after screen. Social media platforms were exploding with content about the invasion, but none of it was fearful. It was all mockery. Someone had created a game called Dramatic Alien Bingo with squares for unnecessary pauses. We have conquered many worlds, and your technology is primitive. Multiple humans were comparing his speech to something called Bad Movie. Villains. One particularly viral post read, "This guy shows up talking about territorial violations. Sir, this is space. There is infinite space. Go find your own space." Another said, 72 hours? What? You need time to charge your laser or something? Just admit you were still downloading the updates. A military analysis channel was already breaking down the footage of Crithian ships, pointing out what they called obvious design flaws and inefficient energy signatures. Zalthex turned to his war council. Is this normal? Has anyone encountered this response before? His officers looked at each other. The senior tactical advisor spoke carefully. No, Commander. Most species respond with either immediate surrender or desperate military mobilization. This is unprecedented. Could it be a bluff? Are they preparing weapons while distracting us with humor? Our scanners show minimal military activity, sir. Some increased communications, but no major fleet movements or weapon charging. Then they are fools. Zalthex tried to regain his composure. They will learn to fear us. A new message came through. This one was from a single human, apparently a low-ranking communications officer at a military installation. The message was casual, almost friendly in tone. Hey there, space friends. So we got your message about the whole invasion thing. Thanks for reaching out. A few notes. First, the dramatic entrance was a bit much. The Vogons did it better in our documentary records. Second, maybe work on your lighting. You looked a bit purple on our screens, not sure if that was intentional. Third, 72 hours is oddly specific. Why not 73? Or 70? Just curious about the thought process there. Anyway, here is our feedback card. 5 out of 10. Needs improvement. Feel free to try again later. Attached was an actual rating card, like the ones humans use to review restaurants. It had detailed feedback on everything from dramatic timing to threat credibility to costume design. Zalthex sat down heavily in his command chair. In 300 cycles of service across 47 conquests, nothing like this had ever happened. He looked around his bridge. Several junior officers were trying to hide their screens, but he could see they had been looking at the human memes. Get me the cultural analysis team, he said quietly. I need to understand these humans. And someone explained to me what a Vogon is. As his crew scrambled to follow orders, one more message came through. It was simple and short from an anonymous human source. We can see you are trying really hard with the scary invader routine, but maybe take a day and think about this? We have been watching alien invasion movies for like 100 years. We have seen all the tropes. You are not bringing anything new to the table, just some friendly advice from Earth. Good luck with the whole conquest thing, though. Below it was a small image. A human giving a thumbs up and winking. Zalthex closed his eyes. This was going to be more complicated than he thought. Zalthex had not slept well. The human mockery had continued throughout the night cycle. Every hour brought new creative insults. His face was now on clothing, on cups. Someone had created a children's toy that repeated his declaration in a squeaky voice. Enough, he announced to his war council. We will show them the true power of the Dominion. Prepare the plasma annihilator cannon. We will destroy one of their asteroid belt objects. A demonstration they cannot ignore. His weapons officer saluted. Yes, Commander. Shall we select a target? Find an uninhabited asteroid, large enough to be impressive. We will broadcast the entire event. Let them watch their solar system burn. The crew moved with purpose. Finally, they were doing something familiar. Something military. The plasma annihilator cannon was the pride of the Crithian fleet. It had destroyed moons. It had shattered battle stations. It was a weapon that demanded respect. Target acquired, Commander, the weapons officer reported. Asteroid designation 2024 KX7 uninhabited. Composition is mostly iron and nickel. Size is approximately 2 kilometers across. Perfect. Begin charging the weapon. And someone add the ceremonial war music to the broadcast. Let the humans hear the song of their doom. Peltix, the cultural liaison, spoke up nervously. Sir, about the music. Perhaps we should. The music stays, Peltix. It is tradition. The plasma annihilator cannon began its charging sequence. It would take 3 hours. The Crithians had designed it this way for maximum psychological impact. 3 hours of watching power build. 3 hours of knowing destruction was coming. 3 hours of fear. They broadcast it all. The charging coils glowing brighter. The energy readings climbing. The dramatic music playing. Zalthek stood before the camera again, watching the weapon charge behind him. "People of Earth," he said, "you have mocked us. You have shown disrespect. Now witness what happens to those who do not take the Dominion seriously." Back on Earth, the broadcast went live. Within minutes, viewers started tuning in. 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. The numbers kept climbing. Zalthek smiled. Finally, they were paying attention. Finally, they would understand. Peltix was monitoring Earth's communication networks. His scales had gone pale. "Commander, you should see this." "What now?" "They are watching. 2.3 billion humans are viewing the stream." "Excellent. They are learning fear." "Sir, they brought snacks." "What?" Peltix showed him the feed. The human global network was treating the weapon demonstration like entertainment. They had created a watch party. People were commenting in real time. "Okay, so how long is this going to take?" 3 hours, apparently. "Anyone else think that is a really long charge time?" "My phone charges faster than this laser." Taking bets on how many shots it takes to destroy the rock. This music is kind of a banger, though, not going to lie. A group of human scientists had started a technical analysis stream. They were discussing the weapon's energy output, efficiency ratings, and design choices. Their tone was not impressed. "See, the problem is they are using a plasma containment field which is incredibly energy inefficient," one scientist explained. "A simple kinetic impactor would achieve the same result with a fraction of the energy cost." Another scientist nodded. "And that 3-hour charge time? That is a terrible tactical design. In a real battle, you would be a sitting target. Plus, look at that energy bleed. They are losing at least 30% to heat dispersion. Honestly, my microwave has better energy efficiency than this thing." Zalthek watched in growing horror. They were not afraid. They were critiquing his most powerful weapon like it was a school project. The 3 hours passed. The weapon reached full charge. The ceremonial music hit its peak. Zalthek gave the order. "Fire." The plasma annihilator cannon unleashed its power. A beam of pure energy, bright as a sun, crossed the void of space and struck the asteroid. The rock exploded spectacularly. Chunks of metal and stone scattered in all directions. The weapon had performed perfectly. Zalthek waited for the screams, the panic, the desperate pleas for mercy. Instead, the human chat exploded with comments. "Mediocre. 6 out of 10, the explosion was okay. Michael Bay has done better. 3 hours for that? Dude, work on your dramatic timing. Anyone else disappointed? I expected more boom." Someone posted a comparison video showing explosions from human entertainment films. Many of them looked more impressive. The betting pool results came in. Most humans had guessed it would take 1 shot. They acted like this was obvious. "Next time, just throw a big rock at it," one comment read. "Saves energy, same result, much faster." Zalthek was shaking. His head ridges had gone completely flat. "This is impossible. We just demonstrated the power to destroy worlds, and they are making jokes." His tactical officer spoke quietly. "Commander, our intelligence team has completed their analysis of human history. And? You need to see this, sir." They gathered in the war room. The intelligence team had spent the last cycle studying every piece of human data they could access. What they found was disturbing. Humans have been fighting each other for their entire recorded history, the chief analyst explained. They have fought with sticks, with swords, with chemical explosives, with atomic weapons. They have nearly destroyed themselves multiple times. "Many species have violent histories," Zalthek said. "Yes, but humans are different. They do not learn fear from violence. They learn tactics. Every war teaches them new ways to fight. And, sir, their entertainment media. It is filled with scenarios of defeating alien invasions." The analyst pulled up examples. Movies, books, video games, television shows. Hundreds of them. Thousands. In almost every one, humans defeated technologically superior alien forces. "They have been preparing for us?" Zalthek asked. "Not exactly, sir. They created these scenarios for entertainment, for fun, but the effect is the same. They have spent generations imagining how to fight enemies from space. It is built into their culture. Another analyst added more information. Their military forces train using something called simulations. They fight battles that do not exist against enemies that are not real. To prepare for situations that may never happen, they practice war as recreation. And the Mockery? Zalthex asked. It is a defense mechanism but also a weapon. They have documentation of using humor to resist oppression throughout their history. It maintains morale. It builds solidarity. It shows fearlessness to their enemies. But Commander, there is something else. The screen changed. It showed Earth's actual military activity over the last cycle. The analyst pointed to the data. While their civilian population mocks us, their military has been very quiet. Too quiet. Our scans show minimal activity, but their communication networks are heavily encrypted. More encrypted than before we arrived. What are you saying? I am saying they might be using the Mockery as a distraction, sir. While we focus on the insults, they could be preparing something else. Zalthex considered this. It made sense. But what could they possibly prepare? His fleet was vastly superior. A new message came through from Earth. Official channels this time. Military frequency. Zalthex expected a surrender or at least a serious negotiation attempt. Instead, the message was simple. Listen, we can tell you are getting frustrated. That is understandable. This is probably not going how you expected. Here is our offer. Leave now. Just turn around and go. We will even delete the memes. Probably. Maybe. Okay, we definitely will not delete the memes, but you can leave with most of your dignity intact. Think about it. Below the message was a chart showing the current top 10 invasion memes. Zalthex's face featured in all of them. His second-in-command spoke carefully. Commander, perhaps we should consider— No! Zalthex slammed his fist on the table. The Crithian Dominion has never retreated. We have never been defeated. We will not be humiliated by these primitive creatures and their mockery. But sir, the intelligence suggests— I do not care what the intelligence suggests. We are warriors! We have conquered 47 worlds. These humans and their jokes mean nothing. We will show them real fear. He stood tall, all four arms spread wide. Prepare the fleet. We advance on Earth, full assault. We will crush their defenses, occupy their cities, and end this mockery once and for all. His officers exchanged worried glances, but saluted. Orders were orders. As the meeting ended, Peltix approached Zalthex privately. Commander, I really think we should reconsider. To humans, they are not acting like any species we have encountered before. Zalthex looked at his young officer. Peltix, I have been doing this for 300 cycles. I know fear when I see it, and I know bravado. These humans are putting on a show because they have nothing else. When they see our full fleet approaching their world, they will break. They all break eventually. Peltix wanted to argue but remained silent. He returned to his station and continued monitoring Earth's networks. A new post had just gone viral. It showed Zalthex's weapon demonstration with text overlay. When you spend 3 hours charging your ultimate attack and it does 6 damage. Despite everything, Peltix almost smiled. Then he noticed something in the background data. Earth's power consumption had just spiked across their moon base. Their Mars colony had activated additional facilities. Something was happening. He started to call out to the commander but stopped. Zalthex was not in a mood to listen. The Crithian fleet moved through space in formation. It was an impressive sight. 47 warships, each one a masterpiece of military engineering. Zalthex watched from his command chair as Earth grew larger on the view screen. Send forward scouts, he ordered. I want to know what defenses they have before we engage. 5 small scout ships broke from the main formation. They were fast and heavily shielded. Their job was simple. Approach Earth's orbit, scan for defense platforms, and report back. Easy work against a primitive species. The scouts accelerated toward the blue planet. Their sensors showed the expected things: satellites, space stations, some primitive weapons platforms in high orbit. Nothing that could threaten a Crithian vessel. Scout leader to command. The lead pilot reported. Approaching Earth orbit now. Sensors show minimal defenses. This will be easier than— The transmission cut off. Scout leader report. Scout leader. Static. Zalthex leaned forward. What happened? Get me a visual. The screen showed the area where the scouts had been. Empty space. Then something flickered. What they had thought were simple satellites suddenly lit up with targeting systems. Power readings spiked across the board. Those are not satellites, the sensor officer said, his voice tight. Those are weapon platforms. They have been hiding in plain sight. One of the remaining scout ships tried to retreat. Something hit it. Not an energy weapon, not a missile. The sensors registered it as a simple metal slug, but it was moving at impossible speeds. The scout shields designed to deflect energy weapons might as well have been paper. The metal projectile punched straight through and the ship exploded. Railguns, the weapons officer said. They are using kinetic weapons. Another scout died. Then another. The last one managed to send data before a metal slug split it in half. The tactical display lit up with new information. The Earth's moon was powering up. Massive doors were opening across its surface, revealing weapon emplacements that had been hidden inside. The moon was not just a natural satellite. It was a fortress. How long has that been there? Zelthex demanded. Unknown, Commander. But based on the construction, decades at least, Mars was next. The small human colony they had dismissed as insignificant suddenly showed its true purpose. Ships launched from hidden bays, not primitive vessels, real warships. Small but fast and armed, the asteroid belt came alive. What they had thought were simple mining stations revealed themselves as weapons platforms. Hundreds of them. They were never defenseless, Peltic said quietly. They were waiting. Zelthex stared at the tactical display. The solar system was a trap. How did we miss this? They hid it, sir, all of it. They designed everything to look innocent. Commercial satellites were weapon platforms. Mining stations were military bases. The moon was hollowed out and turned into a fortress. They have been preparing for this since they reached space. That was only recently. How did they build all this so fast? Humans work quickly when they are afraid, sir. And according to their own history, they have been afraid of alien invasion for over 100 years. Zalthex made a decision. We still outnumber them. All ships advance. Combat formation. Destroy any human vessel that approaches. The fleet moved forward. Several human ships rose to meet them. They were small fighters, nothing compared to Crithian cruisers. This should have been an easy battle. The first human fighter flew straight at a Crithian destroyer. The destroyer's weapons locked on, but the human pilot was doing something strange. The fighter was spinning, rolling, moving in patterns that made no sense. The targeting computer could not get a clean lock. What is that pilot doing? Zalthex asked. Unknown, Commander. Those maneuvers should kill the pilot. The G-forces alone. The human fighter released a missile at point-blank range, then somehow pulled away at the last second. The missile struck the destroyer's bridge. The entire ship went dark. More human fighters engaged. They flew like they were insane. They took risks no trained pilot should take. They performed maneuvers that should have knocked them unconscious. They coordinated their attacks through what sounded like casual conversation mixed with singing. Tango 7, you got one on your tail. I see him. Watch this. The human pilot pulled a turn that should have been impossible. The Crithian ship following him could not match the maneuver and flew straight into his squadmate's firing line. Splash one alien fighter. Did you see that? That was beautiful. Almost as beautiful as me. Nobody is as beautiful as you, Tango 4. Thanks, Tango 2. I am blushing. Contact left, brake left. Braking. Oh, they are playing music. Anyone else hear that? Yeah, that is the Imperial March, classic choice. They were joking. In the middle of combat, they were making jokes and playing music and somehow winning. A Crithian heavy cruiser tried to use its main cannon. A human destroyer impossibly charged straight at it. The cruiser fired, but the destroyer had already rolled to avoid the shot. The human ship did not fire energy weapons. It fired metal. Simple metal slugs accelerated to incredible speeds. The Crithian shields were designed for energy weapons. The metal slugs passed through them like they were not there. They tore through the cruiser's hull, puncturing critical systems. The cruiser began to drift, crippled. Why are we losing? Zalthex shouted. We have superior technology. Superior numbers! His tactical officer was frantically reviewing data. Sir, their tactics make no sense by any military doctrine. They are taking risks that no sane commander would approve. But those risks are working because we cannot predict them. Another report came in. A human ship named Diplomatic Immunity had just rammed a Crithian cruiser. Both ships were destroyed, but the humans had broadcast a message first. Worth it. They are insane, Zalthex said. Yes, sir, Peltix agreed. But they are winning. The battle continued. More Crithian ships took damage. The humans were not trying to destroy the entire fleet. They were targeting command and control. Bridges. Communication arrays, engines. They were trying to disable, not destroy, and it was working. "Commander," the communications officer called out. "The humans are sending a message." "Another joke?" "No, sir. Military frequency, official." Zalthek straightened. "Finally, a serious communication. Play it." A human appeared on screen. Female wearing a military uniform. Her expression was calm. "Attention, Krithian fleet. This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You have been analyzing us for the past few days. Now it is our turn to tell you what we learned about you." She pulled up a display. It showed Krithian ship schematics. Detailed ones. "Your shields are designed for energy weapons. Your tactics follow the Marthak doctrine, which prioritizes overwhelming firepower. Your command structure is rigid and hierarchical. Your ships are powerful but slow. You charge your weapons for maximum damage instead of rapid fire. You are essentially fighting the last war." She smiled. It was not a kind smile. "We have been studying war for thousands of years. We have been fighting each other for all of recorded history. We know every tactic, every strategy, every dirty trick. And for the past century we have been preparing for you. Not you specifically, but someone like you. We knew you would come eventually." The display changed. It showed the hidden installations, the weapon platforms, the moon base, the Mars fleet. "We did not spend the last few days mocking you because we were not afraid. We mocked you because we were buying time. We needed to analyze your fleet, understand your tactics, and position our forces. The jokes were a distraction. And you fell for it." Zalthex felt cold. She was right. They had been so focused on the insults, on the mockery, that they had not noticed the real threat building. Admiral Chen continued. "You declared battle on Earth, we accept. But understand this, we do not want to destroy your fleet. We do not want to kill your people. We want you to leave. Right now, you can withdraw with your ships and your lives. Or you can continue this fight and learn why humans have survived everything our own planet has thrown at us." She leaned forward. "We have killed each other with everything from rocks to atomic bombs. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We have clawed our way from caves to space stations. You are not the scariest thing we have ever faced. You are just the latest." The message ended. Zalthex looked at his tactical display. He had lost 5 ships completely destroyed, 12 more severely damaged. The humans had losses too, but fewer, and they were still fighting like every battle was personal. "Sir, what are your orders?" his second-in-command asked. Zalthex wanted to order a retreat. Every tactical instinct told him this was a fight he could not win. But pride held him back. The Dominion had never retreated, never. "We push forward," he said. "All ships, full assault. Target their moon base. If we destroy that, we break their defense." The fleet advanced toward Earth's moon. It was a mistake. Zalthex knew it was a mistake even as he gave the order. But he could not stop himself. The moon base opened fire, not with lasers or missiles, with rocks. Massive chunks of lunar material accelerated by magnetic rails. Simple, primitive, devastating. One rock hit a Krithian battleship dead center. The ship's shields could not stop solid matter moving at such speeds. The hull crumpled. "The ship broke in half. They are throwing rocks at us," someone shouted. "They are winning by throwing rocks." The surrender happened in stages. First, the weapons powered down. Then the shields dropped. Human ships surrounded the Krithian fleet, keeping careful distance but maintaining clear firing solutions. If any Krithian vessel tried to restart their weapons, they would be destroyed in seconds. Zalthex sat in his command chair, feeling the weight of 300 cycles of service pressing down on him. He had never surrendered before. No Krithian commander in the Dominion's history had surrendered an entire fleet. He would be remembered, but not the way he had hoped. Admiral Chen's voice came through the communication system again. "Krithian vessels will proceed single file to Luna Base. That is our moon. You will be assigned to docking ports. Your crew will be processed. Any attempt to deviate from course or power weapons will be considered an act of aggression." "Understood," Zalthex replied. His voice sounded hollow even to himself. The journey to the moon was slow. The Krithian ships moved at minimum speed, escorted by human vessels that darted around them like small predators. Zalthex watched them on his displays. They moved so differently from Krithian ships, quick, aggressive, unpredictable. Peltix approached him carefully. "Commander, the crew is asking questions." "What do we tell them?" "Tell them the truth, we lost. We will face whatever comes next with dignity." "Do you think the humans will execute us?" Zalthex considered. I do not know. Their military tactics suggest sophistication, but their culture is strange. They might turn us into more memes. Despite everything, Peltix made a sound that might have been a laugh. That might be worse than execution, sir. As they approached the moon, Zalthex got his first good look at the human base. It was massive. The entire moon had been converted. Doors opened in the gray surface, revealing hangar bays that could hold dozens of ships. Weapon emplacements covered every visible surface. This was not just a base. It was a fortress that had been decades in the making. They really were preparing, Zalthex said quietly. All those years. All that construction. They were expecting someone to come. Expecting us, sir? No, just someone. Anyone. They prepared for war with an enemy they had never met. The flagship was directed to Hangar Bay 7. As they entered, Zalthex saw hundreds of humans in military uniforms waiting. Armed but not aggressive, organized, professional. The ship landed. The crew stood at attention on the bridge. Zalthex straightened his armor one last time. Everyone maintain discipline. We are Crithian warriors. We lost the battle, but we will not lose our dignity. The crew nodded. They filed out of the ship in formation. Human soldiers watched them carefully but did not point weapons. Instead, they directed the Crithians to a large processing area. Zalthex expected interrogation rooms, prison cells. Instead, they were taken to what looked like a medical facility. Human doctors working with translation devices began checking each Crithian for injuries. What is happening? One of his officers asked. A human medic, young and cheerful, answered. Medical screening. Making sure nobody got hurt in the battle. Anyone who needs treatment will get it. You are treating us? We are your prisoners. The medic looked confused. Yeah, but that does not mean we let you suffer. Geneva Conventions apply to everyone. What are Geneva Conventions? Rules for war. How to treat prisoners. Basic rights. You know, standard stuff. The Crithians did not know. They had never thought about rules for war. You fought. You won or lost. That was all. After medical screening came documentation. Each crew member was photographed, interviewed, and assigned an identification number. The process was efficient but not cruel. The humans asked about dietary requirements, medical conditions, and how to contact their families back home. You are letting us contact home? Zalthex asked when it was his turn. The human processing officer nodded. Of course. Your families need to know you are alive. We will set up communication channels. Might take a day or two to establish the connection. Why? The officer looked at him like the question was strange. Because it is the right thing to do? Look, I know you guys came here to invade us, but you lost. That does not mean we are monsters. Zalthex was escorted to a private room. It was small but clean. There was a bed, a desk, and a window showing Earth rising over the lunar horizon. The planet looked peaceful from here. Blue and white and beautiful. A guard stood outside his door, but the door itself was not locked. Zalthex tested it carefully. It opened. The guard looked at him. You can walk around the common areas if you want, Commander. Just stay in this section. There is a mess hall down the corridor. Recreation room past that. I am not confined. You are confined to this section, sir. But within that you can move freely. Just do not try anything stupid. Zalthex walked to the mess hall. It was filled with his crew. They were eating. The food was not Crithian, but the humans had apparently researched their biology and prepared compatible meals. Some of his crew were talking quietly. Others sat in shocked silence. He got food and sat alone. After a moment, Peltix joined him. This is very strange, Commander. Yes. They defeated us, but they treat us well. Yes. I do not understand humans. Neither do I, Peltix. Neither do I. Over the next few days, a routine developed. The Crithian prisoners had scheduled times for exercise, recreation, and communication home. Human guards were present, but not threatening. Some of them even talked with the Crithians, asking about their homeworld, their culture, their technology. A human soldier named Martinez became a regular visitor to the recreation room where Crithians gathered. He was young and friendly and completely unafraid. So what is your planet like? He asked a group of them. They told him about the red skies of Crithia, the 3 moons, the crystalline forests. Martinez listened with genuine interest. Sounds beautiful. You must miss it? We do, one admitted. How long will we be prisoners? Martinez shrugged. Depends on the negotiations. Your government and ours are talking. Probably work out a prisoner exchange eventually. These things take time. You are not angry with us. We came to conquer your world, Martinez laughed. Oh, I am definitely not happy about that. But you lost. You are prisoners. Getting angry now would not accomplish anything. Besides, you seem like decent people. Aside from the whole invasion thing. This confused the Crithians more than anything else. They had expected hatred. Instead, they got casual friendliness mixed with professional military supervision. Southex was given access to Earth's information networks. Carefully monitored access, but access nonetheless. He could see news reports about the battle. The human coverage was honest. They reported their own losses. 12 ships destroyed, hundreds of casualties. The humans mourned their dead but did not call for vengeance. The memes, of course, continued. Southex's surrender was now immortalized in hundreds of jokes. But there was other content, too. Analysis of the battle. Discussion of what would happen next. Debates about how to treat the prisoners. One video caught his attention. It was an interview with a human military historian. The Crithians made a classic mistake, the historian explained. They assumed technological superiority meant inevitable victory. But history shows that is never true. The Mongols defeated more advanced civilizations. The Vietnamese defeated superpowers. Technology matters, but tactics, terrain, and morale matter more. The interviewer asked, "What do you think the Crithians learned?" Hopefully that humans are not easy prey. We have been fighting since we climbed down from the trees. Wars in our history, our culture, our very DNA. Not because we want it to be, but because that is how we survived. Any species that comes to Earth looking for an easy conquest will learn the same lesson. What happens now? The historian smiled. Now we talk. We negotiate. We figure out how to coexist, because that is what humans do. We fight when we have to, but we would rather find another way. That is what separates us from true monsters. Zalthex turned off the display. He walked to his window and looked at Earth, the planet that had defeated him. The species that had turned his grand invasion into a joke and then beaten him in battle. A knock on his door. A human officer entered. "Commander Zalthex, Admiral Chen would like to speak with you." He followed the officer to a meeting room. Admiral Chen sat at a table with several other human officers. She gestured for him to sit, "Commander. I wanted to talk to you directly. To gloat? No, to negotiate." She pushed a data pad across the table. "This is a proposed treaty between Earth and the Crithian Dominion. Prisoner exchange, reparations, borders, the usual post-war items." Zalthex read it. The terms were fair. Generous even. Earth was not demanding submission or territory. They wanted peace and compensation for damages. That was all. "Why?" he asked a U1. "You could demand anything." Admiral Chen leaned back. "Because we do not want an empire, Commander. We want to be left alone. Your Dominion tried to conquer us. You failed. Now we want to make sure it does not happen again. The best way to do that is a treaty both sides can live with. The Dominion may not accept this. They do not negotiate. They conquer. Then the Dominion is going to have problems, because we just proved they can be beaten." She paused. "Commander, I have been reviewing your record. 300 cycles of service. Dozens of successful campaigns. You are a good soldier following bad orders." The news of the Crithian defeat spread through the galaxy faster than light travel. The Dominion, proud conquerors of 47 worlds, had been defeated by a species no one had heard of before. The recordings of the battle were analyzed by every spacefaring civilization. The memes were translated into hundreds of languages. Earth had announced itself to the galaxy in the most human way possible, by winning a war and making jokes about it. The Galactic Community Council called an emergency session. Representatives from 200 species gathered to discuss this new development. A species called humanity had defeated the Crithian Dominion. What did this mean? Were humans a threat? An opportunity, both? Ambassador Talara of the Zenth Collective studied the data carefully. The battle had been brutal but brief. The humans had superior tactics and defensive preparation. But what concerned her most was the cultural analysis. The memes. The mockery. The complete lack of fear. This species is dangerous, she told her aides. Not because of their weapons, but because of their mindset. They do not respond to threats the way other species do. Should we avoid contact? One aide asked. No, we should make contact immediately. A species this unusual could be either our greatest ally or our worst enemy. Better to find out which while we can still choose. Back on Luna Base, the prisoner exchange was being negotiated. The Crithian Dominion had sent a diplomatic team, though they looked uncomfortable doing so. The Dominion did not usually negotiate. They dictated terms, but Earth held all the advantages now. Zalthex sat in on the meetings as a consultant. The human negotiators were sharp. They knew exactly what they wanted and how to get it. The Crithian diplomats kept trying to salvage some pride from the situation. It was not going well. The Dominion proposes a mutual withdrawal, the lead Crithian diplomat said. Both sides acknowledged the conflict and agreed to no further hostilities. The human negotiator, a woman named Sarah Kim, shook her head. No, that implies both sides share blame. You invaded us. You were defeated. The treaty needs to reflect reality. But the Dominion has never lost before. Well, you lost this time. You can accept that and move forward. Or you can refuse and explain to your government why their entire fleet is still sitting in our prisoner camps. The Crithian diplomat's scales darkened with frustration. You are being unreasonable. We are being accurate. Look, we do not want to humiliate you. We just want the truth acknowledged. You invaded. We defended. You lost. Those are facts, Zalthex spoke up. She is right, we lost. Trying to pretend otherwise makes us look worse. The diplomat turned to him. Commander, you are not authorized to... I was there. I led the fleet. I made the decisions that led to our defeat. And I'm telling you that the humans are being more generous than they need to be. Take the treaty. Learn from this. Move on. After 2 weeks of negotiation, the treaty was signed. The Crithian prisoners would be returned home. Earth would keep the captured ships for study, then return them. Reparations would be paid. Borders would be established. Both sides agreed to peaceful relations going forward. The day of the departure, Zalthex stood in the hangar bay watching his crew board transport ships. They looked different than when they had arrived. Less proud maybe, but also less rigid. Some of them were talking with human guards, exchanging contact information, promising to stay in touch. Martinez walked up beside him. You did good, Commander. Getting your people home. I also got them captured in the first place. Yeah, but you adapted. That takes courage too. I was taught that courage meant never surrendering. Nah. Martinez shook his head. Courage is knowing when to fight and when to stop fighting. You saved your crew by surrendering. That was brave. Zalthex considered this. Your species has a strange definition of courage. Probably. We have strange definitions of everything. Martinez grinned. Hey, if you are ever back in this part of space and not invading, look me up. I will show you around Earth. We have got some great food. You would welcome me. After everything? Sure. You seem like a decent guy who made a bad call. We have all been there. He extended his hand. No hard feelings. Zalthex looked at the offered hand. In Crithian culture, touching hands was a sign of deep trust. He grasped Martinez's hand carefully. No hard feelings. As his transport lifted off, Zalthex looked back at Luna Base, the fortress that had broken his fleet, the prison that had treated him with unexpected kindness. He wondered if he would ever understand humans. The journey home took several weeks. When they arrived at Crythia, the news crews were waiting. So were the military leaders. And the politicians. Zalthex prepared himself for arrest or execution. Instead, he found chaos. The Dominion was falling apart. With the fleet gone, the conquered worlds had seen an opportunity. Rebellions had broken out on 15 planets. The central government was struggling to maintain control. And somehow the humans were involved, not militarily. Earth had not sent weapons or ships. Instead, they had sent something more dangerous: information. The recordings of the battle were everywhere. The memes had been translated. But more importantly, Earth had shared their own history. Stories of humans overthrowing oppressors, accounts of revolutions and independence movements, guides on nonviolent resistance and democratic organization. They are not invading, one politician explained to Zalthex. They are inspiring, and we cannot stop it. The Dominion's government tried to maintain the old ways. It did not work. Within a year, the Dominion reformed. The conquered worlds became member states instead of subjects. Democratic elements were introduced. Military aggression was officially ended. Zalthex watched his civilization change. He was not punished for the failed invasion. Instead, he was asked to help with the reforms. His experience with humans made him valuable. 3 years after the invasion, Zalthex received a message. It was from Earth. Admiral Chen was inviting him to a military conference, a gathering of multiple species to discuss defense strategies and peaceful contact protocols. He accepted. Walking into the conference center on Earth felt strange. He was on the world he had tried to conquer. Now he was a guest. The irony was not lost on him. Admiral Chen greeted him personally. "Commander, good to see you again." "Admiral, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for coming. We have a lot of species here. Most of them want to meet you. You are famous, you know. I am infamous." "Same thing," she smiled. "Come on, I will introduce you around." He met representatives from dozens of species. The Zenth, the Marlak, the Vorlani. All of them had questions about humans. What were they really like? Could they be trusted? Were they as dangerous as the battle recordings suggested? Zalthex answered honestly. "They are dangerous if you threaten them. But if you approach peacefully, they are generous, even kind. They defeated my fleet and then treated my crew with more dignity than the Dominion ever showed its own soldiers." A Zenth ambassador asked, "But the mockery? The memes? That was psychological warfare?" "Yes and no. I think they genuinely found us amusing, but they also used our reaction to that mockery as cover while they prepared. They are complicated. They joke about everything, even things that terrify them. That is insane." "Yes. But it works." The conference lasted a week. Zalthex learned that humans were already becoming a major force in galactic politics, not through conquest but through trade, culture, and alliances. Their entertainment media was spreading rapidly. Their music was being played on alien worlds. Their food was becoming fashionable, and the memes. The memes were everywhere. On the last day, Zalthex attended a reception. He found himself talking with a group of human military officers. They were discussing tactics, comparing strategies, debating the finer points of various battles throughout history. One of them asked him, "Commander, what was your biggest mistake during the invasion?" Zalthex thought carefully. "I assumed that your mockery meant you were weak. I mistook humor for fear. I did not understand that you can laugh at something and still take it seriously. That is a very human thing." The officer agreed. "We joke about death. We make memes about disasters. It is how we cope. But it does not mean we are not preparing. I understand that now." Later, Zalthex stood alone on a balcony overlooking a human city. The lights stretched to the horizon. Millions of humans living their lives completely unaware of the alien watching them. He thought about his initial assessment of the species. Primitive, weak, easy to conquer. He could not have been more wrong. Martinez found him there. "Hey, Commander. Enjoying the view? I am trying to understand. Your species is so strange. How so?" "You are violent and peaceful. Dangerous and kind. You make jokes about everything but take nothing lightly. You defeated us in battle and then helped us rebuild our society. I do not understand how all of that can exist in one species." Martinez thought about it. "Maybe that is what makes us human. We are full of contradictions. We fight and we forgive. We laugh and we cry. We are scared of everything and afraid of nothing." He paused. "You know what I think? I think the reason we did so well against you was not our weapons or our tactics. It was that we have spent thousands of years fighting ourselves. We know how scary humans can be because we have faced human enemies. You were just another threat. We have handled worse from our own people. That is a terrifying thought.